Great. Okay, we'll jump right into questions for head coach Manny Diaz, and we'll start with Chris Stock. Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Coach, with Tyler Van Dyke, have you seen a change in his personality or mentality over the last few weeks as he's become the starting quarterback? Have you seen him change lately?
I think he's getting more comfortable. I think he's getting more confident because confidence has to come from something real. And obviously he's seen himself make plays in games and crucial situations. So, like any young player, they believe they can do it, but then when they get in the game and they see it, their confidence grows. And there's a lot that he has to improve on and grow on. But I just think being in there's no substitute for experience, and he's getting baptism by fire week by week.
Great. Next, we'll go to Matt Shodell. Matt, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, Manny. We have Bubba Bolden on the availability list today. And I was looking at his pro football grades, pro football focus grades. I was just curious how you feel he's played this year, since he's playing pretty much more snaps than anyone on D. And then also if your grades typically align with those pro football focus grades, since they have Bolden not really doing very well overall. If you could talk about that.
I would never, ever look at a pro football focus grade. I don't know how they can grade a player not being known what their assignment is, what their route progression, what responsibilities they're supposed to have on every play. I mean, there's so much nuance to how everybody coaches. I couldn't grade NC State's players. I couldn't grade and expect them to grade ours. It's easy to count tackles and PBUs and interceptions and things like that, but so that part I don't know. I think Bubba's played well. There's been some situations where the ball hasn't found Bubba. I know he wants to make more plays, but we talk about just being where you're supposed to be and being responsible for your area of responsibility. And I think Bubba's, again, he's our best communicator on the back end, best guy in terms of getting everybody lined up and anticipating what's coming from the offense. So.
Oh, can I also ask you, how do you grade him out? Like, is there an overall grade you can share with us, or even the last two games, if he's done in the upper half of the defense, in terms of grading on your system?
It's hard to hear. Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
So on your own grades, the grades you give these players, can you share either his overall grade for the year, if he's in the upper half, the last two games, if he's in the upper quarter or half on your team, how he's done in your grading system?
Yeah, the specifics like that we don't share publicly. You know what I mean? It's just what we know, what we grade in terms of, whether it's technique errors, assignment errors, overall production grades, things like that. That's for us inside.
Okay, thanks.
All right, next we'll go to Manny Navarro from The Athletic. Manny, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. Obviously, we know the injuries have been sort of an overwhelming sidebar to this whole season. Curious if there was anybody else coming off the North Carolina game besides Cam Harris, who might be questionable for this week. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can't think of. I'm trying to think.
Okay.
I can't think of anybody right now. We still got a few that are dealing with the little, campus flu has been going around, but I think right now, other than Cam, who we had for UNC, we should. There's some bumps and bruises, things like that just from a game, but I think right now we're planning on having everybody on Saturday.
Okay. And then just as a follow, obviously recruiting, I know that's something that we're only 2 months away from signing day or whatever. I think it might be even less than 2 months away now. Just how that's sort of going. You guys sort of reevaluating some of the targets as far as, who you're going after. What could you sort of say about where you're at? I know there's 8 commitments, at least publicly announced, but just how that's sort of going right now.
Yeah, our number of commitments is low. The quality of our commitments is high, which is to me what we're really concerned about, who we add to our program. And we don't have right now a big number to give out, just based off of our current roster situation. And then we're entering into a really unknown period of college football. And I think you're already starting to see the first kind of rumblings from that across the nation with the one-time transfer. So that is an ongoing question right now in terms of, the spots we have, who's, does anybody know which of their players are going to try to seek their COVID year and come back for another year? So there's there's a lot in play right now. But like I said, I am very pleased with the quality of the players that we have that are committed to us. There's some big-time targets that we feel good about our shots to get, that we know that we're coming down the stretch, and we've known that the entire time. But the actual mix of what our class will end up, to me, and I don't know that that'll be determined in December as much, or February. I don't know if college ball is now not who reports in August. I mean, I think that's kind of where we're at right now. I just think the model of how things were is not anymore. It's changing right before our eyes. And a year ago, we were locked out on some really, really good players that wanted to come here at the end. We're delighted with our class. Our class is phenomenal. But we were locked out on trying to add a few more guys here at the end. And I think, to have some flexibility in the springtime, I think it's going to benefit us.
Okay. Thank you.
I got time for a couple more. We'll go to Kobe Price next. Kobe, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. Yeah, Colin, following up on the question that Manny asked you about recruiting, I guess, is there a range that you guys are looking for with the upcoming class? I think you just said that you're not looking for a big number because of all the but the COVID uncertainty and eligibility with that.
Well, you have to respond to what your roster is. And this is what everybody's got to do. You got to respond to who comes, who goes. I mean, if you think about what we've done, you're in a situation now where you could lose a bunch of guys in one room. In a normal given year, you say, okay, this year we were planning on losing one running back. So you would sign one. Well, and I'm using this hypothetically, not with our running back situation. There's nothing to say now that in any given year you might lose 3 running backs, or you might lose whatever. And if you lock yourself out on the number and you can't make yourself whole of what you need to compete, you're out. And they've got us to 32. But there's 2 trains going other directions. They've given us the ability to get to 32, but they've still capped us at 85 and given everybody on the team an extra year because of COVID. So there's a big time numbers crunch that's coming. But the problem is that everybody, and this is not a mine issue, everybody is a little bit feeling their way in the dark because they don't really know what your roster is going to look like after the season. It used to be, hey, our guys going to go to the league early, and now you don't know. So having some flexibility in that is going to be a big deal.
And just a quick second question. Sam Brooks, don't believe I saw him yesterday during practice. What's his status? Is he Mungo's guy?
Yeah, Sam is still with us. He's still part of the team. As we've known, it's been taking Sam a while to get back up to full speed. Sam loves being here. We're fully supportive of Sam. It hurts Sam to watch us because Sam was recruited to be here in this moment at this time. This is important for him. So it's hard. It's hard for those guys when they're not 100% and feel that way. And so we're super supportive of Sam and in his future here at Miami, and he's a part of us.
Okay, we'll wrap up with Susan Miller-Degnan. Susan, go ahead.
Hey, Manny. What's the most important thing that you guys have to concentrate on going into this NC State game and, the morale of the team? And also, I think, I'm not sure, but if you would have opted to kick a field goal, at the end of the last game, I think it would have been around the same distance as the game that Andres missed the field goal. Were you thinking about that at all if you would have gone for it? And I know he kicks them really well during the game normally, but when the pressure's on and stuff at the end.
So you're asking, would we have kicked the field goal?
Yeah, or if you did it cross your mind at all that it would have been around the same distance, it would have been the same situation, as last time?
We knew we were in range. We knew we had the field goal if we needed it. And if the situation dictated the field goal was a play, we wouldn't have thrown the ball in the end zone from the 14-yard line or wherever the ball was, hoping for a touchdown. Let's say if it was a 4th down scenario when you got a chance to go to 3. And I don't think anybody on our sideline, or let me phrase it this way, I think everybody on our sideline believed that we would have won the game had it gone to overtime. But we were in the ascendancy right there. We were playing to win the game, when, like I said, we called the same RPO that we had on 3rd and 21 that got Keyshawn down to the 3-4 yard line that we scored on to cut it to 3. We had the same thing. And there was a guy broken open, but they made a nice play. Their Mike linebackers, a really good player for them, busted through and got a hand up. And then unfortunately the ball batted around and our guys were trying like crazy to knock it down. And it fell in their hands. So like I said, I think our intentions we were trying to win the game at that moment.
But you think Andres is over that now, or can you never tell with the kicker?
I mean, the courage he had to go make the 2 kicks. He didn't get 2 layups of the 2 he had to make there. And I get it, and the game situation was different, but he made 2 very difficult kicks in that game and knocked him right down the middle. So everybody in the football team trusts him. And we knew if we were in that situation again where he's got to kick to win or kick to tie, I think everybody feels confident that he would make it.
And just the morale of the team now going into this game, and what's the most important thing you need to stress to them?
Our guys are excited to go play. We got a top 20 team coming into our stadium. This was a great game a year ago. We know that they'll be highly motivated because of that game last year. This is a team that we've got a lot of respect for. I've been saying it all summer long. I thought people were sleeping on NC State. So our guys will be excited to play. I mean, this team knows, they know how close we are to being 2-0 in the league, but they also know the things that are happening to us to prevent us from winning. So, like every team does, you're seeking improvement week in and week out, trying to find a way to correct the things that are putting us in a bind. But we've had a good week. We've had a good week Tuesday. We had a good Wednesday today.
Thank you.